This is Leadership TV. See ahead, move ahead, stay ahead.
Hi, welcome to the Pastoral Leadership Series. In the third session of this series, I started looking at the pastor as a servant leader. In a follow-up, I am looking in the fourth session of this series, I am looking at the subject, the 5 types of servants. The 5 types of servants. If you claim to be a servant leader, you will fall into one of these types of servants. And it is taken from one of Jesus's outstanding parables. So Matthew 25, I'm reading from the verse 14 to the verse 30, and I'm reading from the Good News translation of the Bible. At that time, the kingdom of heaven would be like this. Once there was a man who was about to leave home on a trip. He called his servants and put them in charge of his property. He gave to each one according to their ability. To one he gave 5,000 coins. To another he gave 2,000, and to another he gave 1,000. Then he left on his trip. The servant who had received 5,000 coins went at once and invested his money and then earned another 5,000. In the same way, the servant who had received 2,000 coins earned another 2,000. But the servant who had received 1,000 coins went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants came back and settled accounts with them. The servant who had received 5,000 coins came in and handed over the other 5,000. You gave me 5,000 coins. He said, look, here are another 5,000 that I've earned. Well done, you good and faithful. So write down good servant, and then the 2 faithful servants. Said his master, you have been faithful in managing small amounts, so I'll put you in charge of large amounts. Come on in and share my happiness. Then the servant who had been given 2,000 coins came in and said, you gave me 2,000 coins. Said, look, here are another 2,000 that I have earned. Well done, you good and faithful servant. Said his master, you have been faithful in managing small amounts. I'll put you in charge of large amounts. Come in and share my happiness. Then the servant who had received 1,000 coins came in and said, sir, I know you are a hard man, and you reap harvest where you did not plant, and you gather crops where you did not scatter seed. I was afraid, so I went off and hid your money and in the ground. Look, here is what belongs to you. You bad. So the third servant is bad. You bad and lazy servant. The fourth servant is lazy. His master said, you knew, did you, that I reap harvest where I did not plant and gather crops where I did not scatter seed? Well, then you should have deposited my money in the bank, and I would have received it all back with interest when I returned. Now, take the money away from him and give it to the one who had 10,000 coins. For to every person who has something, even more will be given, and he will have more than enough. But the person who has nothing, even the little that he has, will be taken away from him. As for this useless servant, so the fifth servant is useless. Throw him outside in the darkness. There he will cry and gnash his teeth. Amazing. So 5 types of servants in pastoring. 5 types of servants in pastoring. Number 1, the good servant. The good servant. Now, the good servant delivers high quality results under good conditions. So these are pastors who are serving God, but they are serving God very well. They are good because they are getting good salary. They have good accommodation. They are driving in good cars. Their marriage is good. They are raising good children. Everything around them is good. On the basis of the good things happening to them, they are providing good service. And they have become good servants. Let these good things happening around them stop. They will stop. They will start complaining. Let their salary delay for 1 month. You see, that's a limitation of a good servant. A good servant is good, but is good as far as good things are happening. Satan went to God and said, you see, Job, if I remove from Job all the things you have done for him, all the protections, and take it away from him, Job will change. God said he will not. And Job proved to be more than a good servant. And we'll look at that one soon. So sometimes when God decides to take away all the good things he has given you, you stop being a good servant. Some servants, some pastors are like that. They are good as far as good things are happening to them. Number two, a bad servant. A bad servant uses the opportunity to serve to pursue his personal interest. People are in churches. They visit church members to build their own disciples. Not disciples for Christ. They don't have the overall interest of the church at heart. They pursue their own personal interests. They use the senior pastor's brand to chase their own personal interest. They are even in the church, they are running fellowships. Those are bad servants. Third, a lazy servant. A lazy servant delivers no results and finds excuses for his or her failures. So there can be very lazy people in ministry. And I'm not surprised that some people feel that lazy people become pastors. In fact, I used to wonder, how can a lazy person become a pastor? Until I worked in a place among certain pastors. And a colleague of mine could sleep when others at work could sleep. And I've also employed a number of pastors who showed extreme laziness. I've met a number of pastors who feel every time I'm tired. Who doesn't get tired? There are pastors who cannot even go to office every day if you ask them to. They'll call you for excuse. They'll call you for this. These are lazy people, and you cannot become successful being lazy. The fourth is our useless servants. Useless servants are pastors that cannot be used for anything. They can't even lead common prayer. They lead prayer like prayer warriors. Give them the chance to do a teaching service, and you will regret. They will forget their scriptures. They don't have no understanding. They are just useless. You can't use them for anything. They have not discovered their spiritual gifts. They don't know. They just occupy space. They have become a matter for the church. They just occupy space. That finally is the faithful servant. Is the faithful servant. If you followed the earlier series, I spoke about the 6 areas true spiritual leaders are faithful. They are faithful in little things. And this was this servant. See, a faithful servant is a servant who delivers high quality results, irrespective of the conditions under which that servant is working. If he receives salaries or not, he is working. If he has accommodation or not, he is working. I have been there before. Most of the pioneering fathers of the charismatic movement did not respond to the calling of God because there was going to be a salary for them. Some of them worked for so many years and their churches could not take care of them. Some of them even at the peril of their health and their marriages and their children's development. And yet they remain faithful to the point of death. The Latter-day Saints pastors who recently came into ministry, who want to have a car in the first year of ministry. If they don't have it, it's a disappointment. They don't have it, they are bitter. You don't have it, they are fighting the church. They are going from church members to church members, complaining that they are not being paid well. I came to Spintex Road with my lovely wife after I've served for several years and studied outside this country to live in an uncompleted building, to start this church. Today, how many young pastors will accept to live in uncompleted buildings? So the car I brought from Europe to roof our wooden structure and started taking public transports. Today, young pastors will not even want to take Uber. For them, if they take Uber, they have failed. If you don't give them good conditions, forget it. But faithful servants, no wonder the pioneering fathers of the charismatic movement are very successful. They are serving God, and their children have come into ministry serving God with them because of their faithfulness. How faithful are you? How faithful are you? If you do not receive a salary for the next 6 months, will you still serve God faithfully? If your health is taken away, will you still serve God faithfully? Faithfulness is key, and God is looking for faithful servants. And a true pastoral leader is a faithful servant. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you in the 5th session of this series. Love you. I hope it's been a blessing to you. The Lord bless you and keep you. The mission of the Titi Ofe Center is to provide all manner of leadership learning opportunities to all manner of leaders in all manner of ways, mostly at no cost to these leaders who study at the Titi Ofe Center. To be able to finance the Titi Ofe Center and make sure that our projects are sustainable, I want to invite you to buy the Titi Ofe books on Amazon. Any book you buy is donated to the Titi Ofe Center for the development and the training of the next generation of godly servant leaders. Titi Ofe Center every year hosts the African Young Leaders Fellowship Program, where we attract young leaders from across Africa free of charge for a 10-day leadership development program. We also host MELT, the Management, Entrepreneurship and Leadership Training Program. And this attracts also young men and women who spend weekends with us here at no cost to them at all. Titi Ofe Center also hosts some of the biggest young pastors leadership conference. Is called IPLAS, the International Pastors and Leaders Under 40 Summit, where we house over 3,000 young pastoral leaders at no cost to them at all in our facilities. And we want you to support us to keep doing these things. Recently, we signed an MOU with the biggest student organization in Ghana, NUGS, the National Union of Ghana Students, to provide free leadership training to student leaders across the country. This is worth supporting. And above all, the Titi Ofe Center is also a mission center where this training offers us the opportunity to serve Jesus with our participants. Why don't you support the Titi Ofe Center by buying a Titi Ofe book, by creating a Titi Ofe library right now? Do it now, and the Lord will bless you.
This is Leadership TV. See ahead, move ahead, stay ahead.